You're listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, the post-mortem on my podcast class, and Marcy almost needs a post-mortem after a rock and roll celebrity sends her an apology gift. Also, you know those owner's manuals you never took a look at? Maybe it's time. I got through teaching my community college podcasting class.
And
I have I always respected teachers, but now I really, really, really respect teachers because before every class, I had almost a panic attack. Not quite, but a fit of terror. Like, what if I have nothing of value to teach people? What if my whole career cannot possibly be distilled into even 8 hours of interesting information for people? What if I really don't know anything at all? And that's still an unanswered question in my head. So,
well, do you see people sleeping while you're talking?
No, it's a tiny little seminar class. But to be fair, there was one young woman who had come back from a business trip, and she must have checked her watch and yawned like every 5 minutes. And I finally looked at her and said, are you all right? She said, I just didn't get much sleep. I'm sorry. And
I was always that kid in the back of the lecture hall.
It wasn't it was a little table, like a table we could all sit around. It was a seminar, it was small. It was in the podcast studio. And so that happened. Yeah.
Has anyone brought you an apple?
That's a thought. No, but given my mindset, I would worry it was poison. That would be my. I've watched too much Disney. Here, have an apple. Here, yeah. Delicious. So yeah, well, no, what that is too many years of being on the air. It's like if a listener sends it, call the bomb squad.
Yeah, that's for sure. That was like when Greg Allman sent me a box of fancy candy, and I fed it to everybody in the newsroom.
No,
I never took one.
Greg Allman sent you a box of fancy candy?
Yeah.
Why?
And I was sure it was like full of something bad.
Why?
Because I had an interview with him and he was so messed up. He was really messed up. He could barely speak. This was when he was using, obviously. And I got really mad and I yelled at him.
You yelled at Greg Allman?
Yes, I did.
Did you tie him you tied him to the whipping post, did you?
Yeah, I did. I yelled at George Carlin too.
No.
Yeah, I used to be very let's say impatient.
You're a fabulous journalist. I can understand you yelling at Greg Allman because he really was wiped out of his mind a lot of the time. But what on earth did George Carlin do to offend you?
Yes. No. I don't know. Maybe. That's what George Carlin did.
And so what did you finally say?
I just told him to call me back when he feels like talking because this was supposed to be a magazine cover. And so far, it's not even a paragraph.
And what did he say about that?
He apologized.
When? At that moment?
Yeah, pretty much. Said, okay, I'm just in a mood. And I said, get out of it. We've had this scheduled for 2 months. Now I'm on deadline. I've always been an on-deadline person. You will never see me do anything in advance. Pretty much ever.
I'm thinking. I've known you a long time. I'm trying to figure out if that's consistent across your life.
I never studied. I was always the one taking the, caffeine pills all night the night before a test. That's why I became a journalist, because I work really well on deadline.
That makes sense. Also because you get to yell at celebrities.
That's right.
So did George Carlin give you a decent interview after all that?
It was okay. I was pissed at him, so.
Did he send you candy?
I'm not forgiving.
Did he send you a box of candy? Well, he could be out there in the pet cemetery at this point.
Yeah.
But did he send you a box of candy?
No, he did not.
So Dwayne Allman's publicist sent you...
Greg Allman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Greg Allman. Greg Allman's publicist sent you a box of fancy candy.
Yeah, they were like half chocolate and half white chocolate shells.
Oh, that's Godiva.
Big.
Yeah.
They were really big.
Yeah.
But yes, I was totally 100% scared to even eat one. So gave them all to my friends.
I'd be looking all over them for hypodermic holes, is what I'd be
Well,
like. Did you stick
that's what I
anything in
was
here?
thinking.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if you know addicts, they really don't
They don't
share
share.
or waste.
No,
Yeah.
it's all for
So
them.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
we've really digressed from your class here. Let's talk about
no,
your.
no, I'm having more fun. This is more fun. Imagining what Greg Allman would do to your chocolates if he wanted to poison you is much more fun than thinking about, which tells you something about the class. So I finished the class. And it was lots of fun. The kids were adults. It was adults. So it was fascinating to hear what they want to do with their podcasts. And some people changed their focus over the course of the class. So that was cool.
Are you going to listen to them all?
There was one that's already up and going, and I will be listening to that as soon as I listen to the one that I was just on, which I still have not done. And then, yeah, I'm kind of a slow listener. I have to listen when I'm in the mood, and sometimes I let things pile up, and then I'm in the mood and I listen to about 15 things. Often when I have to clean something, that's when I
That's a
listen.
good time.
Yeah, because cleaning. I heard a whole broadcast on public radio about how nobody really multitasks, and
Oh, I do.
I thought to myself, I do not multitask, but I can do one thinking task and one completely mindless task while I am
Mm.
at the same time.
Being that person that waits till the last possible minute to do anything, I feel like I'm always multitasking.
Well,
Unless I'm sitting on the couch watching Snapped or House Hunters.
their thesis is that almost nobody truly can multitask. You just switch back and forth either more or less quickly. So,
Yeah, their thesis is wrong. They've never seen me cleaning a house.
well, no, that see, I don't know where that would slot in because that's just kind of a repetitive motion. That's like listening to the radio while you're exercising. If you're
Oh,
in
I
the
run from
gym,
room to room to room to room. But oh yeah, speaking of cleaning
yeah,
and that kind of stuff,
and there's an
our
event,
new washing machine has been down for a week.
the bright blue one that you bought to match your husband's eyes.
Ice blue, yes. So no, okay, you live in a humid climate.
Yes.
Have you ever once washed underneath the rubber of the gasket that goes around the washing machine?
I could swear we've had this conversation because somebody put up a YouTube video of cleaning the gasket of your washing machine. And I just thought, exactly how many times in my lifetime am I going to clean the gasket of my
I have
washing?
exactly. I have never in my life had to clean a gasket.
Well, they've changed
Uh,
the I mean, when we grew up, there was no gasket. There was a door on the top that you slammed down and you
well,
hoped you didn't
exactly.
catch anybody's. But now, with these super water conserving things,
Front
there
loaders.
there are these gaskets that get disgusting, gummy, moldy, awful, and you're supposed to dedicate some part of your life to cleaning your own washing machine, which strikes
Yes.
me as oxymoronic and really annoying. And
Thank you.
I'd almost rather get a new washing machine than sit there with a rag
Well,
and bleach solution and clean out the gas.
well,
It's
I
disgusting.
have a
You know
new
what I would
washing
rather do?
machine.
You know what I would rather do? I would rather clean out somebody else's toe jam than.
Oh, oh, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But I
Yes.
was, first of all, who reads instruction manuals? I've never in my life read one because I don't understand them anyway.
Okay.
But it says, like, right on the front page,
Yeah.
I found out last week
Yes.
that you're supposed to wipe it after every washing.
Oh, please.
And that's what it
Next
says.
thing they're going to tell you, it's
But,
like a baby. You have to burp it after every
dude,
time you give
speaking
it.
of babies,
Yeah.
luckily, luckily only half my family listens to this podcast. But yeah, I washed baby clothes that were in the house here
Yeah.
for the baby.
Uh-huh.
And when I got done, I smelled something
Uh-oh.
bad.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, what the fudgicle nieces is going on here? It's
Yeah.
my new washing machine. So I just, threw them in the dryer with a bunch of dryer sheets
Oh,
so that they
dear.
didn't stink.
Ugh.
And then I look down and I see this little tiny black mark on the washer. So I got some, spray stuff, sprayed it, scrubbed it. It still smelled bad. I peeled it back and it was full of black mold. It was like
Ah!
the worst, smelly, horrible, awful. And I was like, oh my God. And it's this is, I said to Frankie, I showed him and I said, this is under warranty. And he said, I don't think they warranty stupidity. I said, what are you talking about? And then right on the book, very first thing is make sure you wipe it down, especially if you live in a hot climate, and don't keep the door closed. Well, I keep the doors of everything closed because I have a cat that wants to go sleep in everything. And I don't want him in my washing machine. But yes, now I guess I have to leave the washing machine cracked and wipe it down after every use. And so poor Frankie, we ordered the part. And of course, the YouTube looks really easy. It's not. He has to like disassemble pretty much the
Wait,
whole
you had to get a
front.
new gasket?
Yep.
You couldn't just clean it with massive amounts of bleach, which is my cure for just about everything?
Nope.
Oh, dear.
Tried it.
Oh. You've only had this thing for like a month.
No, we got him. Actually, that's what I thought too. So I looked at the purchase receipt. We got him last January.
Oh, okay.
I guess now I'm gonna have to like read owner manuals, which is way late in my life for that aggravation.
Well, considering that you now have to clean it and diaper it like a baby, I suppose you should look on the bright side and be glad you don't have to send the damn thing to college.
That's true too.
Also, and for free, I am happy to give you one of my great Turi rationalizations.
Okay.
It's a drag that you have to start reading owner's manuals, but think of all the owner's manuals you didn't read, didn't even glance at, and you were fine. So if you amortize the time that you have to spend reading this owner's manual, you really have not had to spend much time reading owner's manuals, and you are ahead of the game.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. Since you've made it to the end, you might want to know that my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, is not only available in print, but now also in complete audiobook form, narrated by me and available on Audible.